Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is a tier list of the Five Nights at Freddy's games, basically from a complete newcomer. I played most of the games for the first time on stream recently. This is completely fresh eyes in the year 2023, or current year. I don't really know what the fan consensus is. I am not someone who has watched lore videos. I've literally never watched a MatPat video. But also, I appreciate that a lot of people might say, that's not valuable, because in order to get a proper ranking, you need to be a fan and you need to know the ins and outs. So chat, we're gonna do that. We're doing a dual tier list. I'm gonna do my tier list, and at the same time, chat is gonna be making a tier list to represent the general fandom. First, very important, we need to decide what we call these tiers. I think we need something a bit juicier. First of all, S tier has to be called Peak. But what do we call the A tier? Jude Jame. Now, the middle just, I guess, has to be mid, right? That's mid. And then the bottom, I think we're going to say actively bad. I will say, I don't think I dislike a single one of these games. I think the Five Nights at Freddy's series it always has something that is good. And then D tier is just going to be haven't played. Or let's say for you guys, because I know a lot of you guys watch them rather than play them. The bottom tier would be I know nothing. So, Five Nights at Freddy's 1. I don't think there's anywhere I could put this other than Peak. I had the time of my life playing Five Nights at Freddy's 1. Honk the nose? I will honk the nose. God damn it. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased because my playthrough was ridiculous. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hi. Ah! I had a great time. It's Peak for me. Oh, wait, I've put this on your tier list. God, my tier list, Peak. I don't want to speak for you, chat. Now I will describe all the stuff that I really like about Five Nights at Freddy's 1. Something I think that the Five Nights at Freddy's games do really well, and something that I think was absolutely nailed straight out of the gate. There's kind of like a relationship you have with the animatronics, and obviously I don't mean that as if you're going to give them a big old smooch on their big robotic mouths. I mean, there's a lot of stuff where you can be like talking to the animatronics, you kind of get a feel for their personality, even though they literally don't have personality. Leave me alone! God damn. This rabbit is a menace. You can kind of build up kind of like a camaraderie and you can kind of make your own stories. Oh, there's Chicken. Ah! God damn it, buddy! Tricked us, pretending to go easy on us. And it's the same with Freddy. Freddy is held off so long that by the time Freddy gets involved, you don't know this guy. No. I have to actually deal with Freddy. Bonnie's there. The fox is there. There he is. There's the boy. And I think it adds so much mystery that I really, really like it. In terms of gameplay, I think they strike a really, really good balance. Basically, if you count it as 4 animatronics, there's 2 animatronics that need you to be in the office, and there's 2 animatronics that need you to be on the cameras. I think that the secrets that they throw in, like Golden Freddy, are a fun little bit of spice. I also like the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's 1, because the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's 1 is basically non-existent. The lore of Five Nights at Freddy's 1 is, hey, there's haunted robots, don't die. There was a bite of 87. But honestly, I think the bite of 87 line was just to imply that the animatronics can be dangerous. I think that was about the right amount of lore for a Five Nights at Freddy's game. Five Nights at Freddy's 1, the peakest of the peak. And the FNAF 1 placement by the chat is also peak with 55%. Okay, so me and the chat agree on at least our very first ranking. Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Is that 2 months later? That is very fast. And I think as a result, for me, it lives down here. Let me explain why I would put FNAF 2 in mid. A-Croc Shadow says it perfectly. In FNAF 1, you're sweating. You're sat in the office and you're sweating. In FNAF 2, you literally have no time to think. there's no time to be scared. You just have to go, go, go. But that doesn't make me scared. It's just a lot to have on your mind at once. All you're worried about is staying afloat in a tidal wave of constant obstacles. A side effect of what I'm talking about as well is that, remember I was saying that in FNAF 1, you kind of have a relationship with the animatronics. You kind of get a feel for their personality. How many animatronics in FNAF 2? 11! That's nearly 3 times as many. Because FNAF 2 is so fast-paced and you don't have time to think about anything, you have no time to even think about the animatronics as individuals. Which is really disappointing for me, because if we're rating the designs, then FNAF 2 might be peak. I really like Toilet Bonnie. His face does look like a toilet. I mean, not a comfortable toilet. If you're going to put your bottom on this, you're going to have a bad time. I really like Mangle. Oh, you know what? That's true. Puppet has a cool design as well. Here's an interesting thing I've just realized. Did I ever see Puppet? I actually can't remember. You know what? I'm going to meet the puppet. No, I'm not. The game does not want me to meet that puppet. So, again, that's an example of maybe a cool design not being used that well. Balloon Boy is the only animatronic who I ever personally got angry at. What is your issue, child? This child is nothing but trouble. I don't like how he's laughing at me. I mean, he's not leaving, is he? Is being hateable a personality trait? Look, being hateable is something. I have no opinion about the rest of the cast. Children. Maybe Afton was onto something. Also, worth saying, the cameras in FNAF 2 are completely useless. What is the point in any of, like, for example, this tells me nothing. This is useless information, right? Because it's only when he's in the vents or in the corridor that it actually does anything. And here's the real tragedy. In FNAF 2, they improved the cameras. They added some animation to the cameras, so they're not completely static. And they added the choice to use the flashlight. Really cool. And then the gameplay doesn't use them at all. And for me, it didn't do it. So that's where FNAF 2 lives for me. Judd Jame for the chat has actually won. Okay, so most of the chat think it's Judd Jame at 64%. 5% haven't played this time, so the haven't played number is climbing up. Now, FNAF 3. This is where it's going to get interesting, I think. So, I'll talk a little bit about FNAF 3. This one had at least 3 or 4 months development. So this one had a little bit more time in the oven. But was what was cooking good? I put FNAF 3 as a Judd Jame. I quite like FNAF 3. I mean, you've probably noticed a trend, right? The more animatronics join, the less I care about any of them. FNAF 3 only has 1 animatronic.
Hello.
Man, I don't know where this guy is. I don't know where this clown... Oh, there he is. How you doing, buddy? Me bullying this old man, me telling this old man that he's a big dum-dum, and I'm tricking him with a child's voice. You idiot! You absolute goose! Okay, no, he's in the vent that is closed. Ha ha ha! What a loser! Why don't you marry Cam9 if you love it so much, Afton? You can see why I was having a good time playing this one. I also think that this is quite challenging. Five Nights at Freddy's 3, I had a lot of trouble with, but when I did win, it felt personal. Let's talk about some of the things I like. I think Springtrap's design looks good. I also think his jump scare... Oh, god damn! Okay, I'll be honest, the BB scared me more. Isn't terrible. I think it's fine. This bit definitely makes the game less scary, but it made it more fun. The stupid cartoon character stuff he does when you can see him changing locations. He ran by? Nah. That doesn't sound like something he would do. It's so stupid. I like when he peeks around the corner. Oh, God! What do I do about this? If I just maintain eye contact, he can't kill me, right? He's like the cat from those viral videos. Like, he can only move when you're not looking at him. I mean, I am losing vision. Okay, I died. It's what I was talking about with FNAF 1. In Five Nights at Freddy's 3, you're given time to realize that you're doomed. And I really like that kind of slightly more slow dread. Oh no! So I really enjoyed the gameplay. It felt like a tug of war with one animatronic who I could interact with in some way. Let's go! The Phantom animatronics in this game, honestly, I'm not like a huge fan of them. I get their gameplay purpose, and I think they do their gameplay purpose fairly well. This is going extremely well. There's even a Foxy. Oh my god. It's all under control. But design-wise, they're just the normal ones, but with some black paint on them. I think the Phantom Puppet probably looks the best. I think Phantom Foxy is the one that will actually scare you the most, because Phantom Foxy is actually probably literally unfair. Foxy, if that kills me, I'm going to be big mad. Is there anything else to say about Five Nights at Freddy's 3? I think people think it's only one animatronic and he just goes backwards and forwards and it's quite repetitive, right? I think he's getting in and out of vents again. Yes, he is! What a loser! I can understand that completely, but for me, having that tug of war with this old man was a lot of fun. So for me, JJ. Let's see what the chat think. Mid, 52%. 16% say actively bad. Wow. That is by far the biggest actively bad we've ever seen. Let's get to FNAF 4. What is the correct opinion? FNAF 4 is potentially my favorite. It's very close. It's one of these two. I think I'll put number 1 as my actual favorite, just because, you know, respect the classics. But FNAF 4 is really, really good. I really like FNAF 4. And what's really funny about that is I came into FNAF 4 actively expecting to dislike it, because all I'd heard on the grapevine was that people didn't like FNAF 4. Shocking news. News that may surprise you deeply. I actually kind of like this one. Me going up to the doors, closing my eyes to listen for breathing. Something was there. I had so much fun playing that game. A lot of these are supposed to be horror games. What are the moments in every FNAF game where you are scared you're gonna die? So there's like a spike in tension. In Five Nights at Freddy's 1, it is when you exit the camera and you might get jump scared. That is the rise in tension, is every time you flip the camera down. In Five Nights at Freddy's 4, literally every time you go anywhere, there's a rise in tension. Everything you do, there's a potential you could die. That's why I think it's scary. Heard footsteps. Who's here? Anyone here? Oh, sorry, that was a swear. Sorry, everyone. The animatronic designs, let's talk about that. If this was a game like Five Nights at Freddy's 1, then I think it would be too much, because you would be looking at these guys on cameras all the time, and the scariness would wear off super fast. The designs of Five Nights at Freddy's 4 are not meant to be looked at for too long. If they're down at the bottom of the corridor, you only see them hiding. So you really don't see these guys for very long at all. And so I think in that scenario, you want them to look like they do, because you only have a fraction of a second for your brain to even realize what you're looking at. Jeez, what the heck? So I think the designs actually work in Five Nights at Freddy's 4. The minigames, so the minigame in FNAF 4, where you try to freeze plus trap in place to skip a few hours, it's a little bonus. It doesn't really make much difference, but I think it's welcome. Are you the bread bear I've heard so much of? Why did that scare me? I'm mad. I also think the final night of Five Nights at Freddy's 4 is too easy. And so I think the difficulty curve is a little bit strange. There we go. Completed. Very easy. Surprisingly easy. Yeah, because there's 8 nights. It's not called 8 Nights at Freddy's, is it? You expected me to play extracurricular nights? As if. Okay, the chat think that FNAF 4 is peak. It is the least agreed upon peak, though, at 48%. Our very first winner that doesn't have a majority. So we're talking about World, chat. I think it's a good game. I'm fond of FNAF World. It's fresh, it's silly, and it's got a lot of personality. That's a very cute render. That's a very cute render as well. I don't like how quick she moves. I can understand, 1000% I can understand, that if you're coming off of FNAF 4 and you're like, man, FNAF is the scariest game series ever. I can't wait for the new FNAF game. And then this drops, I can imagine why you'd be a bit angry. Good God, what is happening? Pizza wheel! Do a bash jam! Good God. But, looking at this after the fact, it's a decent RPG. It's got more gameplay than any other FNAF game. That's maybe. It's got more gameplay than any of the FNAF games before it. I like how it gives fan service to all of the games that came before it. Get him! Get that Phantom Chica! And some fan service to characters who literally you will never see again. There's like a red Freddy in this game who looks super cool. Yeah, Red Bear looks pretty cool. Oh my God! These are cool designs. Why aren't there more merch of these guys? There's a lot of variety. You can actually have character builds and stuff. I never completed it, but that's because I set myself a really stupid challenge of only beating it by not attacking any enemies. God, I'm such a good gamer. What a gamer. How would you win without fighting back? So, I basically had a build where I had all these support characters who are like flying around your head. And they would be dealing damage to the enemies, and I would do literally nothing. Let's go. Come on. Let's put Bubba in an early grave. So I got pretty far, but then I hit a roadblock of my own creation. So put an asterisk next to FNAF World, because I didn't actually beat it. But I did enjoy my time with it. FNAF World. Pretty good game. Where does chat rank FNAF World? Oh my God! Okay, well the chat thinks that FNAF World is peak. Okay, chat, explain yourself. It's fun and new. That's a valid argument. Okay. Sister location. Now, I know I said none of them were actually bad, but this is pushing it. You know what? I would put it here, but I've never actually beaten it. I could never get past Night 4. People in the chat were talking about Night 4, and I was like, okay, whatever that means. Turns out this is what that means. So I'll put it at the bottom of mid, just because I'm unqualified having not beaten the entire game. But the lore, remember Mysterious Ducky, I've never had my mind corrupted by the allure for lore. I will say, it does have a bit of personality.
It seems you are taking a long time. Please proceed as quickly and as quietly as possible.
But I think the slightly more jokey personality that they try to put into Sister Location, I think they do it better later. I think the gameplay in Sister Location, again, I've not played Night 5, so I don't know what is in Night 5, but I think it's pretty bad. Yeah, I don't think that this is a particularly fun game. At the very least, it's easy. If it was not fun and difficult, I think I would not be happy. I didn't have fun playing any of this. I'll be honest. For me, this is the experience of filling out a very long Excel spreadsheet. It is not scary. It is just kind of tedious. A thing that I really like about the Five Nights at Freddy's games is that they let you master a skill. Wind it up. Oh my God, we did it. Sister Location, every night is a unique minigame that is then discarded. It's the WarioWare of FNAF. I would play WarioWare FNAF. Sadly, Sister Location isn't that. Something I will say about Sister Location that I do like is, once again, I think the designs are pretty good. I like the Funtime animatronics. I like Funtime Freddy with the little hand puppet. I like Ballora, especially when you're playing Night 4 and her face explodes and she's got that one eye just kind of watching you the entire night. I really like how creepy that is. And I like the Funtime Foxies. I like how they look as well. Oh my god, I forgot. Someone just mentioned key commands. You know what? No, it's going down here. Sister Location has a thing. If you look at it wrong, then you are not allowed to play the game anymore. All right, let me try and make it brighter. I can't. Okay. Oh, Jesus Christ. I can't even click the game. So much of my streams were me just having to wait for the game to kill me. I can't believe you've done this. I was clicking on the Chrome window to try and pause the music, and then this minigame started, and because I clicked off screen, it has once again removed my control. None of the other games did this. Okay, look. This is where I feel like I should put it in fairness, but this is where my heart lives. Let me fill you in on some BS lore. The reason I never played Five Nights at Freddy's all these years is because there's nothing I hate in the world more than tedious resource management. But it turns out Five Nights at Freddy's is a bit more interesting than that. This is exactly what I thought Five Nights at Freddy's was. So I should probably put it in actively bad. Yeah, I think I've got to put it here. Where do the chat put Soul? Injured Jame. It's a close one, though. Okay, Jujek, we've got a nice little triangle going on, chat. Next game, we're talking Pizzeria Simulator. What do I think of Pizzeria Simulator? Okay, I'll be honest with you, chat. It is between these two, but I think it's Jujek. FNAF World walked so that Pizzeria Simulator can run. FNAF World introduced goosey, cute, fun stuff. This is the bit that needs oxygen. And Pizzeria Simulator added that back in the simulation parts of the game. What is this? Oh my god, help me, I'm so sorry. To explain FNAF Pizzeria Simulator and my thoughts on it. So let's go over the gameplay. I really like the pizzeria element. I like that is different every single time you play because things that go on sale are random. No one's coming here for cleanliness, okay? They're coming here for rubber ducks. They're coming here for him. You're always going to get a slightly different experience because I remember I bought Lefty for $1. I'd be a fool not to. And Spiff was like, oh, I think he means $5. I've taken on this boy because it was only $1, and you're basically leaving money on the table to not take someone like this.
Right, so and he also gives 9 risk. Did you take that into consideration at all?
It'll probably be fine. I also got Lefty killing me on night 1, which is apparently very rare. Everyone seems confused. Did something odd happen? He should not be there? How is Lefty already in? Is that not what happens normally? I think the mini-games being in the Pizzeria Simulator part makes a lot of sense compared to the other games where you have to do really cryptic stuff in the bit that is meant to be scary. It's fine. Okay, luckily Afton left us to play this game. It feels like you're actively undermining the horror to get the mini-games. So it makes a lot of sense to put the mini-games in the silly fun part of the game. I still, to this day, am not sure how the nights work. And I've even watched a video about it since. If you remember, the way that I completed the game was by not paying attention to any of the feedback the game was giving me. All right, let's not overthink it. Let's not overthink it. Let's just go. The only way I won was by paying no attention to any of that, because if I paid attention to that, it was basically slowing me down and getting me killed. So the only way I survived was just to do my tasks and nothing else. I think I heard someone getting into the vent, but let's just keep going. Thinking's for losers. All right. Done. Easy. Easy game. Basically, the way I won was by not engaging with the gameplay. So it feels like maybe that's an issue. But generally speaking, I enjoyed the vibes of it. Oh! And as people in chat are saying, the ending is the only time that Five Nights at Freddy's story has been good in a way that is in the game. So I think I could never put this in mid. I think honestly, I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of my words and deeds because I even considered putting this in mid.
Connection terminated. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Elizabeth.
The best moment of the entire series is in this game, so it would be pretty stupid to put it in mid. Chat, you've made your case. It's the top of Jud Jame now. We're going to simulate some pizzerias. What does the chat think? Yet another peak. You know what, chat? I'm getting the impression that my audience may be like Five Nights at Freddy's. Pizzeria Simulator peak. Next up, UCN.
Yar, who touched me bird?
Listen, I only played one stream of UCN. I think it's a Jud Jame. I was surprised by it. One thing I'm very, very grateful for is how they created those challenges you can do, which basically teach you how you should be playing the game. Astral Spiff says, "Oh Pog, Ultimate Custom Night." Yes, I'm doing the hardest challenge the game has, which is called Bears Attack 1. Because I would have no idea how to even begin interacting with this game if it wasn't for those challenge modes. I played a UCN challenge where basically it was just Toy Freddy trying to play his video game, and then all the other animatronics are just distraction animatronics. So it's basically us trying to help our little brother play a video game while we're constantly getting sand thrown in our faces. I'm trying to help my little brother play Five Nights at Huggies. Oh no. Stop it! Stop it! Let me. We have successfully created chaos. And that was really funny, and it was actually very difficult. No. Can my little brother play the game by himself for 30 seconds? Come on, bro. 10 more seconds. You can do it. You can do it. No! You gotta be kidding me. 1 second left. Toy Freddy. God damn it. Talk about a skill issue. Oh my god. And that sort of thing was so much fun. I don't think I even completed that challenge, so we should stream UCN again. You may have figured out from a couple of my videos that something I really value is creativity. And UCN is literally all that. Now, I understand that UCN doesn't really do much more than that. It's kind of expecting you to make your own fun. UCN jump scares are the PNG ones, right? I think if you're gonna make something that has ultimate in the name, maybe make the jump scares not a PNG. So UCN, there's not much to say about. I think it's not bad. Okay, what do people think about Yusin? 45% think that it is a Jud Jame. And the second one is mid. I think that's the first time that's happened. Do people think that it's mid? Well, more people think that it's a Jud Jame. Okay, next game. My ranking for Help Wanted is that I haven't played it. Sorry. I don't know. We're going to play Help Wanted and I guess Help Wanted 2 on stream at some point. But for now, I haven't played it. Poll is nearly over and the chat thinks that Help Wanted is peak. That is a strong peak. 68% say that it's peak. 22% say Jud Jame. That is a 90% think that it is good or better. That is the strongest yet, I think. So we're going to just move straight on. FNAF AR. I personally haven't played it, so I don't know. Maybe we'll play this at some point, but I'm not going to play it on stream because doesn't this game dox you? It's probably going to stay in haven't played for all existence, I'll be honest. What did the chat think about FNAF R, the pirate game? 51% say actively bad. Honestly, I don't know anything about this game. I did not expect actively bad. But now we're getting to the good stuff, chat. It's time for Security Breach. Security Breach. Now, this is the first Five Nights at Freddy's game I ever played. And after the first stream of playing it, I would have probably put it here. I only got up until daycare. And then I played it again. And it was very funny and fun. And then I kept playing it. And I completed it. And then I started doing challenge runs. And I was like, oh my god, this game is a sandbox of goofiness. And then I was like, this is the best game I've ever played. This is so good. And then I played the other Five Nights at Freddy's games. And then I felt bad about liking this game. Because the other ones are horror games. And this is not that. Okay, here's where it is as a Five Nights at Freddy's game. Here is where it lives as a game that I enjoy playing. So I think I've got to put it down here. Because although how I feel about it obviously takes priority. Hey, Freddy, come back! Come back! This, it does weigh it down a little bit, like gravity. And when you compare it to what I've put in peak, Security Breach is kind of like an insult to these games specifically. I love it, but I feel like if I put it up here, they would have a fight and someone would end up dying. It is a lot of fun in a very different way. Whoa, Freddy, chill out. Jesus Christ. Whoa! I think that's all I can say. I've already made a whole video about why I like this game. So it lives here. What does chat rate Security Breach on the tier list? I think my viewers will be biased. Pixie Mage, honestly, my viewers could say that it's peak, or they could say that it's actively bad. I don't have a read on you guys. The chat thinks that Security Breach is peak. 11% say it's actively bad, and 2% of people don't know much about Security Breach. Who are you? Another one to the peak pile. Who are these two chat members who don't know anything about Security Breach? It's the Omori fans? That's funny. Final. Security Breach Ruin. I think, honestly, we're actually far enough away from Ruin coming out that I think people's opinions have had time to settle. Because I think there was a lot of hype. I made a video about it, and I said, oh yes, on the thumbnail. So you would expect me to rank it quite high. I rank it as a Judge. However, it's here. It's here. My opinion of Ruin has kind of matured over time. So I really liked Ruin when I first played it. I really liked that it was actually a horror game. But the reason why I've not done any challenge runs on Ruin is because it's very linear. If what you're looking for is a horror experience and you don't really care about freedom of gameplay, then this will be better than Security Breach for you. But if you're looking for something like me, where I want to be a little bit cheeky and play around, it is not as good as Security Breach. And I don't think it tops these guys. But it is good. So it lives up in Judge. Let's talk about individual things. The animatronic designs in Ruin, I don't really like. All the animatronics are just some flavor of endoskeleton with either gunk on it or random bits of hair. Eclipse is the exception to the rule. Looks a little bit gross, of course, but I do like Eclipse. Now, Cassie. I prefer Cassie to Gregory, for sure. She also has a higher kill count than Gregory. Yeah, apparently Gregory didn't kill a single one of those animatronics. She kills all the cleaning robots as well. Oh my god, is she more of a psychopath than Gregory? Is Gregory killing her at the end of Ruin because she cannot be released? She's actually too dangerous. She needs to be stopped. I like the Mimic. I think the Mimic is a good idea. I really hope we get to see it in more games because I would like any antagonist who isn't Afton. I think the Mimic is actually very bad at mimicking things. It does a decent job at the very start, but then its voice box starts getting obviously AI generated. Cassie, it's me, a little boy. Open up the big tiger cage to let me out, Cassie. When you see it in person, it's made no effort to look like Gregory. It's got like a piece of cloth on its head. Oh yeah, man, perfect. A+. And then when he's in the mascot suit later, and like that's meant to be what Gregory looks like, you're doing bad, man. You're not good at your job. But I think they could make him scarier later. I think the story that Candy Cadet told made him sound scary. What does the chat think of Ruin? Peak. Oh, but it's divisive. It's a 40% Peak win, which is a win for Peak. Congratulations, Ruin. But this is probably the weakest Peak so far. This is my tier list. Five Nights at Freddy's and Five Nights at Freddy's 4 are Peak. I think if you had to let someone play a Five Nights at Freddy's game for the first time ever, I think these are the two games you want them to play. If you just want a good Five Nights at Freddy's game, I think Security Breach for a very different kind of game, Pizzeria Simulator, FNAF World for another very different kind of game, FNAF 3, Ruin, and UCN are all pretty good picks for someone to play. FNAF 2, I think is fine. I think you could do a lot worse than FNAF 2. So, there we go. There's the final tier list, and here is the internet's tier list. Now, how do these compare? Well, for a start, you think a lot more stuff is Peak than I do. But other than that, we're mostly in agreement. That's the tier list.